My name is Steve Moore, and I'm standing here with you at the Piketon Business Square, and I'm standing right in front of what most people in town call the old elementary school. So I just want to take this opportunity to get together and start sharing a little bit with the community about the purpose of why I got involved with this project and what it means to me going forward. So I had the opportunity with Western Advantage, my construction company, to buy this project, buy this facility back in March of this year. And from the beginning, the goal here has been to try to turn something that was once, I think, a little challenging for people driving by with broken windows and different things like that, is to turn it into something that we can all be proud of and to really restore some hope in the community and really start to create positive change and everything that comes from that. Worked with the council and the mayor and everybody to work out a deal to make this make sense and be able to do it in the right way. And since that time, we've tried to slowly start the process of turning this thing into something that we can all be proud of. Ultimately, for me, I want it to be a community space. I look at this as the whole square, not just this particular building. This building is really important and really cool, and I want to share a little bit more about it in a minute. But I look at this whole property, and we're looking at everything that can create jobs and opportunities for the community, but also really provide community services as well. So we've got a big plan. The big plan is starting. It is by no way complete, but we've just really had a wonderful response from the community and from local leaders and everyone on what we're trying to do here. So on a personal note, when we first started this, I had the option of either tearing this building down and kind of working with a blank lot or trying to restore it. My guys in the construction world aren't too thrilled about restoring work. After about 20 minutes of touring this building right here, it was a consensus that it has no business being torn down, and there was a pretty good argument for some of our guys that they weren't even sure they could tear it down. It's built that well. So I want to share that with you, and I want to talk to you a little bit more about why that's important to me, that it is restored and not torn down, because ultimately we're about restoration, we're about growth, and we're about new opportunity, and that's what this building represents to me, and I hope it represents to you in the community as well. So let's go inside and talk some more. So we're inside now. We're in the first floor of the old elementary school, and one of the first things I want to point out to everybody who has been here in the last few years is I'm actually walking comfortably on concrete, not several inches of bird droppings. So it's a little hard for me because we've been involved in this pretty heavily since March, and it's hard to see the things that are different, but I was struggling actually having people tour this facility because it was really unattractive, and I think most people are seeing that starting to change. We got some really cool renovation that's going on here on the first floor. We're actually looking at a system to put drywall in the hallways that allows us to have electrical service and update a lot of things that are a little easier. But we're certainly not in any way jeopardizing the integrity of the structure of the existing rooms, classrooms, restrooms, and the hallway. This thing is built so well, there's just no way we want to do anything to disturb those. So for practical purposes, for all you folks here from the area that either went here or had family members go here, you know, that part of it is going to stay the same and look very much the same because we really want to keep the integrity of what this facility is. I also want to hear a lot more stories from people about this facility. I'm a Northwest High School graduate, not a Piketon High School graduate, so I apologize for that in advance. But I don't know the history of this facility as well as I'd like to, and I'd really like some people to help kind of share the stories and why this is such a great facility that it is. In my mind, when this thing was built back in the day, this thing would have been as nice a facility as there would have been in this area for sure. So we're in what was one of the classrooms now. So this is roughly about 625 square feet. And obviously one of my purposes in restoring it and moving it forward is I think this is ideal office space for people. Here we are on the first floor. These windows are beautiful. They're actually all glass now instead of the broken glass that we used to have. And there's great views here downtown. And then when you turn around on these exterior rooms, there's great exposed brick that I think creates a really nice environment for younger people in particular that are really looking to have some cool office space, have an office with a story. Again, I think there's probably people in this community could give a lot of stories with this office space, and we'd like to hear about that, but we'd really like people to start to see what's happening here, and we want to share more as we go forward, because this is a community project from my perspective, and I really want people to see what we're doing and feel like they're a part of it, because they are, and I mean that in every sense. So let's go take a look at some other areas. So now I'm upstairs. I'm on the second floor, and I'm in the middle of really the main part of the school. And this again is a 625 square foot room that would be great for offices, cubicles, conference rooms. I think we've got a lot of design options and a lot of things that we want to share with people as we move forward. What's also really cool is this is a great view. I mean, you've got Vanguard Church, you've got the river right over here, you've got right downtown Piketon, and I just think this is a super cool view for people who want to spend time working or whatever they need to do, and they've got nothing but great natural light and a really cool view of downtown that is growing and thriving, and I'm very glad to be part of. So let's go see something else. All right, so now I'm downstairs. I'm in what is the basement, although a lot of this has natural light to the outside. I'm standing in front of what has been described to me as kind of the rock that was originally moved from a one-room school that was, I've been told, somewhere around where the Comfort Inn is today, and then transferred to here and kind of cemented in this wall. The Lord reigneth, circa 1837. If I was confused at all about wanting to do this deal, this was kind of the showstopper for me. This just means a lot, and I think is very important to the purpose and the vision that I have for this facility, is knowing that its history and its heritage, that this is just really important. I'd also like to know more about that story, because those are just some things that I've heard, and I'm sure there's more to that than what I know so far. So I would welcome communications and ideas on where this really came from and all the history behind it. But it's really important. We're going to showcase this. We're going to kind of highlight this a little better, get it lit up better here in the basement area, and kind of create a little community space here as well. And that's part of the plan that's ahead. So thank you, and let's talk some more. So there's no way that I can kind of get out of this building without at least showing everybody what was the coal, the boiler room, the coal bunker, and everything that really used as part of the heating system for this building. The last window that we put back in this was out for a while, because we literally had to take the boiler and use cranes to get it out of here. For anybody who was in here recently, this was, coal dust, very thick, and not a very good place to be. We got it cleaned up, got more to do. There's actually a blast door behind me that I think this area in particular has its own entry and exit outside. And I think this would just be a really cool spot for somebody, an office, a studio, or something that a business was really interested in promoting, because there is so much history and character in this room. It's just hard to imagine until you see it. Hope this video does a little bit of justice, but I'd love for people to come and get a chance to see this when we get it finished, because anytime you're in a room or an office where you actually have to have a blast door, you're doing good work. I mean, what else can you have but that? So now I'm in the basement, and I actually hate to even call it a basement, because there's so much natural light that comes in through these windows. But one of the things that we really want to highlight to you as part of our vision going forward is this is a big space down here. I think we've done some calculations where you could probably get 150, 200 people down here in like a conference or a classroom environment. Our intention is to create office space and business space in this facility, but to leave this open to allow for public use, whether it's from some of the nonprofits or the churches in the community, people that are trying to do adult education or retraining or other things. We've got a lot of ideas and we've had a lot of discussions, but my goal from this is to really keep this as an open community space, letting people kind of sign in and sign out. It's a really cool space. There's a cafeteria that was on the other end that we're not really turning back into a cafeteria, but we're going to make it available for light meal preparation and kind of a warming kitchen for catering events and different things like that, to really allow this to be a cool social place. But it's really neat. And there is one thing I would like to show you here. It's kind of hard to see, and maybe we can walk down here. But this is unfortunately probably what's going to get covered up. but this is the old air conditioning system, if you will. There are vents up in front of the main stairs that come into the building, and this is the air comes down and is cooled by the concrete and comes through these areas. And it's just a really cool example of great engineering back in the 20s that we don't have as much practical use for as now. We're probably going to cover up. But again, there's so much history and so many great things in this building. I can't help but try to share it with people. And I'd love to hear people's stories about their kids that went into this room or their parents that went into this room. There's just so much history that we need to hear and we need to share, and we want to make it part of the future of what we're trying to do here as well. So this is the back of the building, what most people would call the back of the building, which is actually facing 23 now. And what I wanted to show you here real quick is this is where the elevator is going to go. So obviously, in order to modernize this building and do the things we need to do to have it a thriving office space or business community, we need to have accessibility for both floors. So we are going to install an elevator here that'll go to the second floor and all the way to the basement. It's also going to be external. So we're going to tailor it with some architectural features that make it somewhat mimic the arches and the columns that are on the front of the building. So we're going to try to make it aesthetically pleasing, but from a functional standpoint, to have a really cool building like this, we need to make sure it's got handicap accessibility, and then there'll be parking out in through here that'll be on grade for people that need to access that way, as opposed to the parking in the front where you can kind of walk up the steps. But this elevator will be really cool once it's installed, and it also will be architecturally pleasing to the actual facility itself. So we look forward to that, and we want to give you updates on that as we get it closer. So here's something I need your help with. We had a lot of great structural inspections and everything associated with this building. This thing is put together like you wouldn't believe. There was one problem on the chimney where there was a lightning strike, and we had to remove some of the chimney as a result of that, the cracks and stuff associated with it. So I got a pile of bricks behind me. The goal the whole time for these bricks is to really get back to the community and to kind of clean these up and stamp them and get them back to people who would like to have a piece of the old elementary school. We're also doing a project for Scioto Valley Local School District right now, and we're looking at ways that we can maybe incorporate some of this, something old with something new. But certainly people who are interested in having something from this original school, we'd like to make that possible. We're working to kind of get them cleaned up and get them in a presentable fashion. But if you're interested, contact me. I'd love to kind of keep this as part of a memento or a connection with this facility for the people in the community. And again, I'd love to hear your stories about what happened when you were here. So thanks, and we look forward to hearing from you.